Hello and welcome to another Pastor Chat. Today we are talking about consistency in training and stacking up wins over a long period of time versus, just maxing out all the time and looking for a big spike in progress. So one of the things that I think builds not only longer term strength but actually more strength is compounding volume over time and actually building your volume over time. Now, that's not to say in weightlifting, for example, only do volume. I'm not saying that. But I'm saying sometimes doing the same session over and over and over again can actually be beneficial if you've got the right volume and intensity. Let's say, for argument's sake, I do 3 triples on front squat at 80%. Just because I did it on week 1 doesn't mean that on week 2, if I do the 3x3 at 80% again, I get no benefit. And I don't know why people think they have to increase the weight every single week or up the volume every single week. This is not the case. Once you have, if you've done the 3x3 80%, you'll still get a physiological response the week after. Now, that's not to say stay on the same program forever, indefinitely, because that would be mind-numbingly boring. However, I think we have to put aside our egos and put aside our tiny attention span to think, I once did RDLs, 3x5 at 180 for 16 weeks, no, it was 18 weeks in a row, I think. And I feel like the progress I got from that was significantly more than doing changing the reps every time or changing the weight every time. It went from like an RP 10 to like an RP 5 or 6, and then the week after I tested a higher volume 200 kilo RDL and I got like 20 reps, which was a massive PB. So it obviously built strength over that period, and it built sustainable strength that was safe for me to do because my body was kind of knew what stimulus was coming. Now there's a point where you would undertrain if you just did the same session over and over and over again forever, but I think that period of that detraining effect would take significantly longer than we currently believe it is. If you were to do the same strength work for 4 weeks in a row, even 6 weeks, 8 weeks in a row, it's still going to have massive benefit to you. And the sooner you can get over, and the sooner you can drop the ego and be like, okay, I'm going to do this for 8 weeks, the better. If you have to feel like you have to do more and more every single session, that's probably why you keep getting burnt out, you keep getting injured or niggles, or you're doing weights that, yes, you're making the lifts, but they're so bad technically, or they're taking so much out of you that you can't then express your true power and true 1RM because you're so fatigued. And obviously we know that fatigue masks fitness. So the more fatigued you are, the less your peak power and your CNS response will be able to display. So let's say, for example, now I'm in a big volume block at the moment, and I'm obviously fatigued. If I was to test my 1RMs now, I probably would get worse than what I did a few months ago when I competed at the British, because not only have I not done singles, but I am fatigued. Now the fatigue I feel I'm building is very useful longer term, but currently that fitness or that strength and power that I've gained is being masked by the fatigue. It doesn't mean I'm weaker, it just means that I'm fatigued basically, and that when that fatigue eventually goes, and I'll be able to then actually obviously blow past my previous bests, hopefully, and the strength I've gained from the block of training will be able to be shown and be displayed, and hopefully, if I can stay injury free long enough, which with this style of training is more likely because I'm not having massive spikes in training intensity and or volume every week, the payoff will be bigger. So this chat is basically to say, I was having this call on the mentorship yesterday where I was talking about programming and the fact that you can program the same thing over and over and over again and still get a benefit. As athletes, I'm urging you to get excited by the mundane elements of the sport. Just because you've done a session before, why is that now boring that you have to do it again? Well, did you do the first session absolutely perfectly? Let's say you did the snatches and you were doing 3x3 at, let's say, I don't know, 75 to 80%. If you did it the first time, did you do it absolutely perfectly? The likelihood is probably not, and if you did, then you can bump the weight up. But the likelihood is you probably didn't do it perfectly. And if you think you did it perfectly but you didn't, then that might be the issue as well. Is that you think that just making reps, regardless of how they look, is good. Yeah, making reps is good, but we want to, in a sport like weightlifting, snatch and clean and jerk especially, we want to be making 90% of the time reps that are quite nice. We don't want to be grinding through reps all the time. There's a time and a place for maxing out, absolutely, and everyone who is coached by me knows that I love a max out. But with that being said, it's worth having a look at your program and seeing if you can delay the 1 RM attempt. In the grand scheme of things, if you get, let's say your front squat PB is 100, if you get 110 kilo, and this is why certain squat programs don't work as well as people think. You can blast yourself with like a Russian squat program, for example, and you probably will, your strength probably will improve in the sense of your neuromuscular ability to recruit fibers for that specific exercise, let's say front squat, will get better, mainly because you've done 6x6 at 80%, 5x5 at 85%, and you've accrued loads of reps at it. So basically your skill has just got better, your practice has just got better, and your movement quality might have got a little bit better. However, it's a short-term gain. So at the end of the 6 weeks, your front squat might go from 100 to 105 or 100 to 110. And yeah, that's cool, don't get me wrong, like PBs are cool, I love PBs. But if it causes you injuries and it causes you overuse issues and it causes you to then miss time because of injury, let's say you've gone from 100 to 110, but then you have to miss 6 months because of a knee injury, and then you don't get another PB again for another 6 months after that because you've got to build back up. Well, I'd probably rather, at the end of the 6 weeks, just hit a nice 102, and then after another couple of weeks hit a 105, and then a 108, and just gradually hit those little PBs over and over again, every month or every 2 months. Looking for that kind of sustainable progress is what keeps you in the sport as long as possible, and avoids that burnout feeling of where you just cannot give any more because you feel like you've given yourself every single session. So my advice to you as lifters is, like I said, get excited by the more mundane elements. Get excited by the process. Really enjoy the process of training and building strength in the long term. Yeah, let's say, track your volume PBs more. Okay, this week I did my best volume at 80% on snatch is 3x3. Okay, we're going to do 4x3, and they're all going to be really nice reps. That's cool. That will lead to big PBs eventually. Because it doesn't happen straight away, people think it doesn't work. And I think that just comes down to us as humans, especially in the modern age, needing a quick hit, a quick response, a quick dopamine blast. And the longer we can delay that gratification and have that delayed gratification, the bigger the outcome, the PB at the end. This is the secret, I think, that most good, long-lasting weightlifters do. Hopefully we'll be able to see it more in a few years with our own training once we start applying this. But understanding that it's not a 3-month pursuit, it's a decade-long pursuit. It's a multi-decade long approach. If we want to be in the sport properly for a long time and actually get a lot out of it, we want to be in the sport as long as possible. So yeah, just bear that in mind. Have more of a process-driven mindset to it rather than an outcome. Focus on the process, focus on repeating sessions but making them better quality rather than quantity or intensity. The better quality your sessions are, the more you'll get out of it anyway. From a movement skills perspective, your chance of injury will obviously significantly reduce as well. And as always, if anyone has any questions at all, please let me know.